Japanese sake, food items delayed. Beijing, China-bound exports of Japanese sake and food items have been delayed amid an escalating diplomatic row between Beijing and Tokyo over Prime Minister Sanae Takaichi's November remarks on a Taiwan contingency, trade industry sources say. The slow customs clearance in China is believed to be part of its measures in response to Takaichi's comments that suggested Japan would act in the event of coercive measures against Taiwan. According to the sources, the Japanese embassy in Beijing has received inquiries from affected companies. The mission has urged China to properly handle trade procedures and ensure transparency, a source familiar with bilateral relations said. Following Takaichi's remarks, China has increased its economic pressure on Japan, urging its citizens not to visit it and reinstating its ban on Japanese seafood imports. On Tuesday, China tightened its exports to Japan of dual-use items that have both civilian and military applications, with rare earths possibly included. According to the Japanese Farm Ministry, sake exports to China amounted to some 11.6 billion yen, $74 million, in 2024, the most among countries and regions. The sources said after sake items recently arrived in China, customs procedures took longer than usual, several weeks to 1 month, and in some cases, the clearance time doubled. Speculation is rife that the Chinese authorities may have targeted the liquor as a symbol of Japan. The delays have been confirmed at various ports in China, including Tianjin and Shenzhen in Guangdong province in the south, the sources said. Exports of some foodstuffs and processed food items have been delayed. In some instances, Chinese customs authorities asked for detailed transportation routes of the goods in Japan to check whether they had traveled through prefectures such as Fukushima, Miyagi and Tokyo, the sources said. A Chinese ban remains in place on marine and other food products from 10 of Japan's 47 prefectures, imposed after a 2011 devastating earthquake and tsunami that triggered the Fukushima nuclear disaster. With the Chinese economy slowing due to a prolonged property sector crisis, another source familiar with the bilateral relationship said Beijing has opted for retaliatory steps against Japan that would not harm its own economy. Shipments of goods bound for Chinese companies have been processed as usual, but some Japanese businesses have complained that joint projects with state-run Chinese firms have been halted or postponed. A trade industry source said delays in customs clearance for sake products may amount to harassment, as their impact on the Chinese economy is deemed to be relatively small. Beijing strengthened its customs inspections in the early 2010s following bilateral tensions over the Japan-controlled Senkaku Islands in the East China Sea, which China claims and calls Diaoyu. At that time, delays were confirmed in a wide range of items, including electronic parts.